All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here, talking about real music in real time for real people just like you and just like me. Before I do this video, quick album recommendation. This is a group called Snakehead Ritual. Let's see if I can get it close to the camera. And this is their debut album, I believe, courtesy of Grooveyard Records. Just a terrific label up in New York State that's devoted to guitar-oriented rock. If you like Lynyrd Skynyrd, this is what I'm going to be talking about in this video, check out Snakehead Ritual. Hard rock and bluesy, gritty, gnarly guitar work, and just great vocals and great production value. Snakehead Ritual, all right? Check out this article. Classic Lynyrd Skynyrd drummer says, current Phony-Baloney lineup is milking the fans and taking advantage of Gary Rosington. Artimus Pyle here, who is the original drummer. I don't know if he's the original drummer, but he was there during, like, from 75, I think, to about 77. Here he is explaining the main reason why he left the band. So he's on with Eddie Trunk, so kudos to Eddie Trunk for having Artimus Pyle on, talking about the movie that he helped create called Street Survivors, which I believe is streaming on Amazon. I have to go watch that movie. I've really wanted to go watch that, and apparently it's on Amazon, so I have to go check it out. So yeah, Artimus Pyle was a member of the band from 1975 to 1977, and then again between 87 and 91. Artimus Pyle was on the plane. He survived. The drummer said about releasing the film, he says, "I'm 72. I still play drums like I'm 30. My band plays Lynyrd Skynyrd better than any band in the world." So he's definitely taking a shot at the corporation or the brand known as Lynyrd Skynyrd. I just really felt that the story should be told to our fans, and so we did it. It's clear the current Skynyrd camp didn't want you to do this film. This must be Eddie Trunk. But my question is why? Why were they so adamant against this film coming out? So this is some crazy breaking news right here. So Ronnie's widow, Judy Van Zant, did not want the truth to come out. And the truth was that Ronnie was going to divorce her. Ouch. The divorce papers were in the briefcase of our road manager on the airplane when we crashed. Talk about a little dramatic twist. The papers were never filed, so when Ronnie was killed, Judy hit the jackpot. And she's used the money all these years to facilitate power, greed, and control. Oh boy. As far as guitarist Gary Rosington, the only classic Skynyrd member still in the band, he's surrounded by some very sinister people. He kind of sticks his head in the sand. I love Gary with all my heart, but Gary is very weak when it comes to that. He's surrounded by people that only care about Gary because of the money he can make them. He is their cash cow. Yes, the love of money is the root of all evil. I left the band because of their greed and their unethical business practices. Ronnie Van Zant never stood their antics for 1 minute. And so I left the band because of their greed and their band's business practices, and I've never held back on how I feel about that. I was the drummer of the real Lynyrd Skynyrd, not this Phony-Baloney band that's out now milking the fans and playing the least they can and taking the money and running. All right, full disclosure, I saw Skynyrd in, I think it was 2010, maybe 2011. Kid Rock opened up. Skynyrd opened up for Kid Rock. I got to meet Kid Rock, and I was talking to Kid Rock, hanging out with him backstage, tall, skinny dude, and nice guy, really nice guy, and we were actually talking about Skynyrd because I knew more about Skynyrd than I knew about Kid Rock. I said, it's really cool that you have Skynyrd out here being your opening act. And he said, yeah, man, wouldn't have it any other way. These guys are great, blah, blah, blah. Maybe he didn't realize how maybe inadequate this band was. And after I got to talk with Kid Rock for a little while, I remember going out to watch Skynyrd for a bit. And the fans were going crazy, but I don't know, it just sounded like a wall of noise to me. It didn't have that soul. It didn't have that groove. There was no air in any of the music. It was very thumpy and big and bombastic, and it's not what Skynyrd was all about. Skynyrd was a soulful Southern rock, R&B hybrid band. They were rock and R&B together, with obviously blues and some other things, but this current band, does not compare to the original band. So Artimus Pyle is correct. He goes on, my band plays for the music, I play it for the music. Of course, I like to get paid like everybody else, but we don't try to fleece the fans like they have with their Forever Farewell tour. The only good thing about COVID-19, it's a horrible thing and blah, 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 but Gary Rosington is allowed to go home and rest without being made to feel guilty because he's not out there making money for this Phony-Baloney fake Lynyrd Skynyrd. So he's saying the good thing about the pandemic is that Gary can go home. Gary is a weak man. Gary at times has had heart attacks. I love Gary, and he's able to go home to his mansion outside of Atlanta and rest without being pressed out on the road. Every time he's had a heart attack in the last many years, they bragged about getting him out there in 2 weeks. Holy crap. Batman. Any doctor will tell you to take 6 months or a year if you have a heart attack or a heart procedure, but they are so greedy and they just pushed Gary back out there. To me, it's stupid because if they push Gary to the point where he can't play anymore for not having any rest, then where's their money now? Where's the money? Gary is able to go home and rest without being guilty, and he's a trooper. He'll go out, he'll work. That's evident of the last 6 years, but they didn't want the movie to come out because they weren't in control of it. Judy wants all the money, all the say, and everything, and I got tired of waiting for the story to be told. There's plenty of fine documentaries about Lynyrd Skynyrd, and our movie was with Cleopatra Films, who did an incredible job of hanging in there. A lot of film companies would have thrown in the towel when Judy came in with the blood-sucking $1,000 an hour New York City attorneys. They would have given up, but Cleopatra hung in there. All right, another holy crap Batman. That's 2 for this one article. So they're not playing the songs right, and I agree. I kind of agree with all of this. I'm glad Artimus Pyle is out there, and it just shows you that sometimes when you do this brand thing where you just try to keep the brand alive and you don't account for the band, like you don't try to really keep that sound close to what it used to be, people can sense it. Now the casual fans, look, Southern rock fans are as loyal as any fan base, probably more loyal than any fan base. I mean, the Outlaws are still out there, and Huey Thomason is gone, but the Outlaws are out there. And, are they okay without Huey? They're okay. They're probably better than Lynyrd Skynyrd is without all of these guys that they've lost. They still have Henry Paul in the group, and Henry did sing lead on a lot of tracks, but he didn't sing lead on a lot of the radio-oriented tracks. But Southern rock fans are still out there. They're still showing up for Molly Hatchet, who I believe has nobody at all who is original. Although I think they've done a good job at trying to authenticate the original sound. Maybe. I don't know. There's not as much pressure on Molly Hatchet and the Outlaws as there is on Skynyrd, because Skynyrd was the best. And I think, to me, they're the best Southern rock band out there. Obviously, the Allman Brothers are in that group too, but the Allmans are done because Greg is gone, but you've got the kids who are out there now, which is pretty cool, trying to keep the legacy going, and doing something original also and new. Whereas Skynyrd just keeps pounding the farewell tour. And this new Skynyrd, they've released some horrible music that just, I don't know, God and Guns. It was just a horrible record. Was like just sort of smarmy, country-ish. It couldn't find its own groove. It had none of the original R&B swagger of the Skynyrd from the Ronnie days. And Artimus Pyle, you know, probably live in concert does a better job at this because he understands. Plus, he's the guy who is driving that groove on drums. So good for him. Good for this movie. It's called Street Survivors. It's streaming on Amazon. And one last time for Snakehead Ritual, check these guys out, courtesy of the Groove Yard. If you like your rock and roll sort of back to basics and loud with lots of guitars and some great vocals, then this might be what you want to check out. They have a huge catalog over at Groove Yard Music. No, they're not paying me to say this stuff. I just ordered a bunch of CDs a couple of years ago, and I really enjoy them. And I actually do, you know, listen to the CDs, which is, you know, you can stream this music too if you want to, but I would support the artists and buy a CD. And I would go watch this movie because this looks like it's going to be great. All right, I am done with this video. Thank you for watching, and see you soon.